Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's a very special day because I just hit 100 subscribers. Not a ton, but hey, that's more than I expected when I started this thing. I'm really pleased because this really started out just as a way for me to share what I was making with my friends and family, and about a month ago my channel just doubled in size. And it looks like a lot of you are people who just know me from YouTube, so that's really cool. So I guess maybe by the end of this year we'll hit 1,000, we'll see. I just wanted to start by thanking all of you. You're all amazing. Thank you as always for your support, both friends and family and people who just found me while they were clicking through videos. I wanted to do a sort of tongue-in-cheek little special thing today to celebrate. You may know that when you reach 100,000 or a million or various number of other subscribers, these milestones, YouTube will send you these kind of plaques, these play buttons, the YouTube logo that's in silver or gold or whatever reward level. And I said, well, I'm a woodworker and I want a prize, so I'm going to make myself a wooden one. Normally I would not be woodworking at this time of the year. I'll show you in a second. It is literally a blizzard outside. I have no climate control in the shop. It's maybe 35 degrees in here. As you can see, I'm bundled up. But we're going to power through and hopefully make something a little bit fun that I can hang on the wall and, you know, have a nice story about. Alright, well that didn't work. Yeah, this is old and probably well past its shelf life. But it's the only spray adhesive I have handy. So we're gonna make it work. And if this doesn't work, I'll come up with something else. It's ugly. We're gonna give it a shot.
It drops off just a little too sharply. Take it up to here. Good job.
Turns out my table was a little off level for some reason. I haven't done any serious bandsawing in a while, so... So you might be wondering how I'm going to do the triangle in the middle. It's a good question that I haven't entirely figured out either. We know that the logo, relative to the size I have here, would have a triangle that's about, I believe, 41 millimeters on each length. It's an equilateral triangle. That comes out to just a hair over 1.5 inches. So I think... Now what I really should have done was mark center on this beforehand and then draw the triangle from there. But that would have required me to be cleverer than I am. So what I do know is that we're going to cut a triangle and then inset this lighter piece of maple into it to make a nice little contrasty bit. Should go well with the cherry. So it's going to be something like that, except bigger and actually centered correctly. It's actually pretty perfect. Not bad for freehanding an equilateral triangle. 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches. Okay, so that outer triangle, I think I'm just going to go with it. Let's see how it is centered. Just shy of 1 inch, just shy of 1 inch, just shy of 2 inches. Okay, so the whole thing needs to move maybe 1/16 of an inch that way. That's about right. So now I need to chisel out a section so that I can inset something. I've never really done an inlay before, so this will be an interesting challenge. I think I'm going to start by finding the biggest drill bit I can that will work within that space. I'm going to go with a 7/8 inch Forstner bit. I think a 1 inch would also work, but I want to give myself just a little bit of wiggle room just in case. So let me clamp. It's not the prettiest thing I've ever made, but it'll clean up. Just quickly sketched out a triangle that should be the same dimensions as my hole here. Gonna cut this out on the bandsaw, then do some tweaking to the shape and try to get it to fit in the recess. Alright, so I went ahead and cut out the piece. I ended up using the table saw just so I could get exact 60-degree angles on all the corners. It took just a little bit of fiddling, but I'm actually not going to mallet this in yet because I want to be able to get it back out to glue it. But that looks just about right. I'm kind of thrown off by my old angle markings here because they're a little skewed to what I ended up actually cutting, but that's alright. It looks like there'll be just a hair of a gap down there, but otherwise it's pretty good. And, you know, for my first time inlaying for a wall decoration, I'm pretty okay with that. So let me go ahead and get this glued up, then we can start shaping the whole thing. Not bad. So I'll let this dry, and then probably tomorrow I will start shaping the whole thing. So definitely one of the big negatives about using a resaw blade as sort of my general purpose blade is that the teeth have a pretty aggressive hook angle, and that has the effect of really pulling the wood down. Normally that's not a problem because it's going to be supported, but when you've got something like this that's kind of held up, it means that when I got to that last cut, this really slammed down. Didn't cause any problems or anything, but it can spook you, so something to watch out for. And now it's time to make this look good. If I'd been smart, I would have started this on a bigger piece of wood that I could then screw or mount to the workbench, because clamping it's going to be awkward. I guess I could hot glue it, but it's more trouble than it's worth, I think. This tool is called a Shinto Rasp. I learned about these from a number of different YouTubers. It is essentially, if you look closely, kind of like a series of hacksaw blades that are arrayed in this diamond pattern. We've got a coarse side and a fine side. And the effect is to really hog out a lot of material quickly and then shape it with the fine side. I haven't used it on something like this before, so let's see how it goes. Gotta say, I already love this thing. Even the coarse side leaves a reasonably smooth finish. Obviously, it'll need to be sanded, but and it does a good job of controlledly moving a lot of material quickly. I'm not sure how else you would quickly do this, even with normal rasps. Alright, I think the rough shaping is done. Time to just do way too much sanding. Good news is, all this work means it's getting a little less cold in here. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty pleased with that. Right now I'm sanding it just to 220. For a piece of wall art, I think that is more than sufficient. Now I'm going to wet it to raise the grain, let it sit for a couple minutes, and then sand it one more time. and then it'll be time to finish it. So I'm sure you've all heard this before, but essentially what this process does is it wets the grain of the wood, and if you ever dealt with green wood, you can see that the grains kind of stick out a little bit more prominently. So what this will do is it'll raise all the grain, and you can already feel it a little bit, which means I can sand that down, and then when it's dry, it'll be about as smooth as I'm going to get it, and really ready for a finish. All right, with that done, time for a couple coats of poly. That looks pretty good. A couple more coats, a little bit of sanding, and we'll be good to go. So that about wraps this one up. It was fairly quick and fun, but I just want to say thank you again from the bottom of my heart to everyone that has followed and supported me, both from the beginning and just recently. I hope I continue to do stuff that you want to watch, and yeah, maybe at the end of next year we'll see you at 1,000. So thanks again, and if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do. Thanks for watching.